Power, purpose, and principle.
I got it all for the muscle. I got it all out the mud. We did it all with no handouts. Nigga, we ain't need.
Welcome back to 15 to the Streets. I'm your host, Brad Fax. I got a special guest co-hosting the deal with my homeboy, the incomparable KV Severallevels. What's up, bro?
How you doing?
How you doing?
You already know
right.
how I'm doing. Great.
It's Friday. It's first Friday in Milwaukee, so it's popping somewhere.
Somewhere.
It's the first Friday. We got a real good show for y'all tonight, man. A good friend of mine, Charles Jackson, a.k.a. Chuck, is going to be calling in a little bit, so look forward to that. But as of now, it's just me and KV. What's up with you? What you got new? What's going on?
Nothing, man. I'm just getting ready to go patronize old Melvin James at a 414 Spotlight birthday party tomorrow.
Shout out to Melvin James, 414 Spotlight. We got a real good relationship over there with 414 Spotlight, man. Shout out to Melvin James. Oh, his birthday tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Is his actual birthday tomorrow, or is it just a party tomorrow?
No, man. We celebrating what we celebrating, man.
What's today? The 6th?
Yeah.
Somebody call Melvin to see if his birthday really December 7th, because I don't know about that. You know, Melvin James likes to just party all the time anyway. He think he Rick James and Eddie Murphy. He want to party all the time anyway.
Right.
But, yeah, I think I might tap in with it. I'm supposed to be going to Earl Will. Got a podcast over there.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to be going to holler at Earl Will tomorrow at about 7 o'clock, man. He got the Big Teeth podcast. Shout out to the Big Teeth podcast.
The Big Teeth podcast?
Big Teeth podcast.
I love it.
Earl Will, Big Teeth podcast, doing big things over there. Yeah. Yep, I tapped in with Earl, man, about a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact. Yeah. He had called me and we talked for a little while, and that's definitely gonna be the thing for tomorrow, supposedly. So hopefully.
Just randomly tell him I'm writing a diss song about him.
Okay.
Him and Jay.
I should text him just missed the competition. He all about the competition, right? If it's all about the competition, you got to know that it's gonna happen. What LL say? If his lovers really got to handle competition. That's one of the most hated hip hop songs in the world, by the way.
Indeed.
Let's just call it what it is. That and well, I ain't gonna call this hip hop, but that and Let Me Love You by Mario.
I promise I hate that song so much. One of the songs I hate more than any song ever committed to wax, bro. That is a hating song from the core of that man's soul.
So I like the song. I do. I like the system. It's a well-written song. Shout out to Neo for writing the song. Neo wrote the song.
He ain't got no mustache. That explains it.
Self-explanatory, huh?
Yeah.
But it's a good song, but you know, it's in heavy violation of
man law.
Yeah, it's a heavy
violation. Every other bar, flag on the play, bro.
Wow. You get 100 yards and penalties, just automatic touchdown.
Automatic touchdown.
Automatic touchdown.
The ref run the ball in for the other team.
Yeah.
Like, he snapped.
But it was some good music that came out that same year. That's the same year that Texas had a whole Don't Mess With Texas wave. I remember the Source magazine that had Scarface, Paul Wall, Chameleonaire, Michael Watts, Slim Thug, the whole Texas that said don't mess with Texas.
Yeah, and that don't make up for dog hating like that on that song.
No, it don't. He ain't even from Texas, so whatever.
I don't care how much good music came out that year. That dude put a black eye.
He put a black eye. And listen, and it was the top of the year though. So it kind of set the tone for a lot of nonsense that came after the fact.
Imagine sitting in maximum security prison at the time.
Don't have to imagine.
Where this dude singing this, he crooning this song, telling this girl in her ear all this negative stuff about her man, and you sitting in the center.
Baby, I just don't get it.
Baby, I just don't.
Do you enjoy being hurt? I know you smell it. I know you saw the makeup. No, he said, I know you smell the perfume and the makeup on his shirt.
And what if she didn't see it?
And she did after that.
Right.
Yeah, if not, then she was blatantly blind. So, you know.
Old boy might have slipped one past the goalie. You gave him up, though.
He should have. Not gave him up, but he should have slipped one past the goalie. He could have had a nice score. But yeah, man, that was terrible. It fall right in line with the rest of the nonsense that came into play with musically that year and the years prior and the years subsequent too.
It's been a lot of trash.
But yeah, man, we got Chuck calling in, man. Chuck been locked up for a long time, man.
How long Chuck been down?
Chuck been locked up 34, almost 35 years. Yeah, almost 35 years.
I was in elementary school.
Yeah, I definitely was going to Congress. I was about 9 years old, maybe, if that, somewhere around there.
That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. And the story is wild, man, because he wasn't the trigger man. I'm gonna let him tell it, but he wasn't the trigger man so much as he was just the fall guy for what happened.
I've seen that movie before.
Yeah. Unfortunately, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like it happens all too often. Cleveland, Ohio, not Cleveland, but just Ohio leads the nation in wrongfully convicted individuals.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
We had an event down there a couple of years back called Freedom Friday. My homegirl, Stoney.
I remember when you went.
Yeah, Stoney started Freedom Friday down there in Cleveland. And I didn't know this either until that day. Until that time of the event. And it was actually some people, Angelo Pinto, who's a lawyer out of New York, he was there. And they all talked about it, man, about how Ohio it leads the nation in wrongfully convicted people. And it's crazy because Milwaukee leads the nation in incarcerating black males per capita.
All right.
So
with 53206 area code being the worst.
Area code. Yep. We got Chuck on the line right now. Chuck is calling right now.
An inmate at Oshkosh Correctional Institution. To accept this call, press 5. To refuse this call, all calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Brad, what's up?
What's up, Chuck? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm just watching a couple football games.
Can you hear me good?
Called you. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, man. So, Chuck, welcome to I hear you real good. Welcome to 15 to the streets, man. We got a co-host, man, a guest co-host here with me, KV Severallevels. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you heard of KV before. I've been around KV enough anytime you call, so just say what's up to KV.
Yeah, I heard of him, yeah. How you doing, KV?
Man, I'm good, Chuck. Nice to finally hear your voice.
Yeah. Now, we've been having problems with these phones, so I don't know if these phones going to be cut off anytime soon, right? But, they've been having phone problems at night. So it's just one of the unfortunate things of being incarcerated, man.
Well, we're going to make it happen, man.
Here.
We're going to make it happen.
I'm just giving y'all full notice.
For sure. So first and foremost, Chuck, tell the people your name, man.
My full name is Charles Edward Jackson.
Okay.
Everybody call me Chuck.
And right now you are incarcerated in Wisconsin in Oshkosh Correctional Institution right now, right?
Correct. Yep.
And
to be more specific, I guess you want me to give detail, like.
Well, no. I'm just we're gonna take it step by step, man. Don't even worry about it. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
So what were the circumstances surrounding your case that led you to prison?
Circumstances of my case, to be exact, was that I trusted. I was in I guess you could say a gang. Initially, I went out reluctantly that night due to peer pressure. Some told me to stay at home. Long story short, I given my gun to, and I say my gun because at the time it was my gun. I take full ownership of that. It was an illegal gun, but it was still the gun that I had to use because of the neighborhood I was in, the lifestyle I was leading. Although I never shot it personally myself or threatened anyone with it, it was just for my protection during that time. But nonetheless, I was at home one night, and at the time I called my guy. You can't see but the air quotes, but I called my guy. My guy called me and told me he was coming over. I didn't think nothing of it. and he wanted me to go out that night. Something just told me just stay at home. Around that same time, my then girlfriend, now baby mama, came over at the same time, and I had informed her that Pat was coming over, and she immediately started crying, which irritated me because I couldn't understand why she was crying, and she just told me that she felt something bad was going to happen if I kept hanging with him. And being loyal to guys that wasn't loyal to me, he convinced me to go out with him that night. And so I did, but before I went out that night, he also convinced me to take my gun with me. And so I didn't want to carry it. I didn't have I had a black Nike jogging suit. So although it had pockets, I didn't feel comfortable putting it in my pants pocket because for the simple fact where we were going, I know they check you at the door. He was willing to put the gun inside of his pants. And I said, well, that's fine. It's just what you want to do. Long story short, he had the gun. He later on that night told me some guy came on to him and his quote unquote said that he used a derogatory comment, say he wanted to pop him because he was gay and because he came on to him. I told him then to leave it alone. He didn't. He was persistent. This went on through the night, and so some other guy overheard the conversation. At the time, I did not know it, but at the time, it was the other guy, Lover, and he was stalking the victim. And now, keep in mind, we all GDs, and anybody know what GDs are, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So this is a neighborhood, quote unquote, gangster bar. So we all in the same bar. At the time, I did not know neither one of them was gay or that he was involved with this man. And the guy butted in because I was trying to calm the guy I came to the bar with down and to keep him from causing even a more scene. And the other guy overheard it and said, yeah, man, you use gangster brother, whatever you want to call it.
Properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
He said, folks, let's go check the guy. But he used the N-word.
Right.
So to keep Pat from acting more of a fool, I went over there reluctantly and wanted to talk to him. It was about a DJ booth. And they get to cussing him out, threatening the guy. And so I'm trying to calm things down. And I really don't, and by the way, I was drinking all that night, so I really wasn't, I was irritated because the whole thing was like wearing me down, and I was high and drunk, and I really didn't want to be there anyway, and it was just all too much. And I'm constantly trying to be a referee between not just Pat, but all of them. And I remember the guy said, when we came up to him, I asked him, I said, man, did you come on to my guy? He's like, no, he misunderstood. I asked him for a cigarette. And so the guy said, so Pat said, no, you didn't, you MF bag, you asked me, I'd rather have you. I said, well, you know what? Let's just keep everything, you know, it is what it is. It went down. Let it go. I thought it was over with. And so later on that night, I'm talking to the lady bartender, and somebody had came up to me and told me the guy that butted into the conversation came up and said, hey man, your guy around the bar arguing with him and the bouncer. Now prior to that, before we came into the bar, the bouncer was checking for weapons, of course. They did a pat search. They had to check at the door. He pat searched me. He didn't find anything. He pat searched Pat. Pat immediately, he said, man, look, you can't come in here with that. He knew what it was. And Pat and him got to arguing. Pat got to trying to cuss him out. And I said, listen, man, we just come in here to have a good time. We're not trying to start anything. It's cool, man. Everything cool. He let us in.
So what wound up happening? I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just curious. So what wound
long
up happening?
Long story short, they end up shooting the guy. The guy that came there with I guess was stalking the other guy along with Pat. He shot the guy, and he shot him twice. And Pat then took the gun and shot 3 more times in the dark. It was like in a abandoned building area. And so, long story short, I'm trying to make it. I know it's a 20-minute call, but
It's all good.
the shooter got away. Because either did I or Pat at the time. I only knew his name, and I'm gonna say his name because I'm gonna say it to the end of somebody listen. His name was Will, and that's what he introduced himself to us that night. We don't go around asking people what their full names is in the
Right, in the neighborhood. Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, we go by nicknames or we go by what the street names are. And so he introduced himself as Will that night. And so because I didn't know who this guy was or his name, they didn't believe it was a third person. And Pat being Pat, or being scared, I'm going to say scared, or maybe just didn't want the weight on him when we got caught, because we got caught, he told the police, because at first he told the truth, he told there was a third guy. When he got the pressure put on him, and because I reluctantly took the gun back. I made so many mistakes that night, I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, I took the gun back. And because the gun was found on me, I was marked as the shooter. And Pat blamed the shooting on me. And so he ended up getting like 20 years, and I ended up getting life for party to a crime. They never proved first-degree intentional homicide, but they proved first, because in party to a crime, you don't have to prove that you were acting participant. I mean, you don't have to prove that you actually did the crime, just that you were active participant. Yeah. And because I brought the gun that night, I admitted to being on the scene. Here I sit 35 years later.
So that was 1990.
That was 1990. That was October 13th, 1990. I remember like it was yesterday.
So
it's crazy because...
So your sentence structure wound up, because you said he got 20 years. And
yeah, he got 20 years for basically... I went to trial first. And so by me going to trial, and I was the oldest between the two of us. I had just turned 21. Pat, I think, was 20, something like that. And, I don't know, you guys know how the law works. They feel like if you're the oldest, you're the more,
culpable.
They choose mastermind.
Yeah,
I find that funny.
More culpable.
I find that funny.
And you may have wielded some kind of influence.
Yeah.
You may have wielded some kind of influence over this person. You may have been manipulative or coerced this person into doing whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that night, sadly to say, he had more influence over me, because I trusted him to be responsible, and we always acted irresponsible,
Calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
So he got 20 years.
Yeah.
So he got 20 years.
Yeah.
You got exactly what? You said life.
I got life with the possibility of parole set in the year 2041. So I have a parole eligibility date, but they gave me a 50-year sentence with the possibility of parole. They don't have to. That means once I reach the 50 years, which I would be 72 during that time, I'm eligible. Not guaranteed, just eligible. I go moderate 2038, meaning that that'd be the first time I could be considered for parole.
Yeah.
And that was during the time Life Means Life. I missed the cutoff point by a year as far as filing my federal appeal, which at the time I was illiterate too. So you had a year at that time once you got arrested to file any kind of appeals that you felt like it.
So for a minute,
you needed to file at that time.
Briefly, briefly touch on your support system, like just on your support system since this crime, I mean, not the crime, but since the situation transpired, from the time you got incarcerated until now. Just briefly touch on what your support system has been like.
My support system is what it is. It's you. You know, I like to think I know. You know, we differ on things but I believe God sent you into my life. You know, but right. my support system used to be my mother. My mother sadly passed away in 2016, 17. So my support system is just basically solely you. You know, I had a few people come in my life in and out of my life, and I understand that, you know. But my support system is you. You know, and the few friends I have that's been in the trenches with me, and I mean the trenches with me, I mean people that done time with me and know me personally. I have a few brothers I can call, but nobody has been more supportive than you and been there for me.
You know, I got you, man. So I'm gonna change gears for a minute, man. You know, the situation is dire. You know, it's heartbreaking, man. And not to minimize that, but I just want to change gears for a minute and touch on how good you are at basketball.
I like to think that I'm good, man. I mean, I think that you got this crazy Stephen Curry shot, but I think that I'm good. I mean, I have beat you, so I feel good at that.
So you like 1 in 100? I mean, you like 1, and our record is like, you know, your record against me is like 1 in 101, right?
I don't believe that, but I do believe that you won more games than me. Yes.
Say.
I believe, you know. I haven't played ball. I haven't played ball like we play ball since you left. So you know, I'm pretty sure you know you could beat me pretty bad now. But yes,
no, I ain't played.
You know, I know I lost. And I know I lost my shot. You know.
Hey, Chuck. So one of the homies posted on Facebook just today that Brad was a ball hog in Oshkosh. Can you confirm or contradict this allegation?
Hog?
Yeah, say he wouldn't pass the ball for nothing.
I don't really consider a ball hog as much as king jacker. You know, you love to jack when you make your shot. And I hate that.
I'm gonna tell you who he's talking about.
Say when you make a shot, you make some crazy half-court shots that used to. Ooh, I want to use that word, but it upset me greatly. And then you start doing that Michael Jordan bow-legged walk. You know, looking back. I hated that.
I was just telling KV, I used to sing Benny and the Jets every time I hit a shot.
Yeah, it was. No matter if I hold D on you, it had hands in your face, and then it goes in. It was pure. It wasn't like it just touched the rim, and it just was all net, and that infuriated me more because I'm thinking this is impossible.
Chuck, he talking about Lil China. Lil China made a stat today on Facebook that said I was a ball hog because I wouldn't pass to him. He was never worthy of having the ball being passed to him, and that's why it seemed as if I was.
I don't think. Well, I think China is what, like you say, he wasn't. I mean, China. Yeah, okay. I don't agree. I mean, I don't agree with China thinking you was a ball hog. I just think he was just king jacker. I mean, you're supposed to give it to the hot hand, right?
Right, exactly.
I mean, shooter shoots. You know,
there's your confirmation and contradiction.
All right, I'll allow it.
He allowed it.
I'd rather have you on my team
KV said he'll allow it. I said KV said he'll allow it because China tried to put me out there bad, man, and he said I was a ball hog. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well, China got a big man complex. You know, he felt like he should be underneath the basket, posting people up, and laying the ball up. You know, he got to do what the little man do. You know, and ain't nothing wrong with that. You know.
Yeah.
You just can't. And if it came down to you or China shooting the ball, I'd rather have you shoot. I mean, because look, man, you made some incredible bird-like shots on me, man. I'm like, man, how is this happening?
I feel like he teed this turn in the conversation up just so you'll big him up about how he used to be on the court.
Look, man,
I feel like this is an ego. This is a self-congratulatory ego stroke on his behalf, man.
So look.
I mean, no, it's what I'm saying is, listen, I'm the last one to give him credit, right? But I got to admit this, man. He has hit some incredible shots, make you shake your head type shots, man. It was just unbelievable. Now I don't think he would do anything. Only reason he got layups over me because he's taller than me.
Right.
You know, that's the only reason.
You and China about the same height.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I know you don't like to be touched, though. I know that.
Because you was hacking.
You don't like contact.
Because you was hacking.
You don't like contact.
See, what Chuck would do is this.
You know what I'm saying?
Chuck would get frustrated.
You know what I'm saying?
He would get frustrated, and I would tell him to come out to the key. He'd be like, no, man, just shoot.
No, I wouldn't. If I didn't, I would get burnt either way. So I'd rather for you to hit it on me while I'm guarding you than to just let you shoot it and then still hit it. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. You ain't hit every shot, but the shots you did hit on me were game winners, and I didn't like that.
I was 80% from the field, Chuck.
Hey, say Chuck. Hey, say Chuck.
So let's talk about something else, man, because I'm like KB now. I'm like, man, I'm not going to keep stroking you.
Hey, Chuck, you got 1 minute left, man. Chuck.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me tell him something real quick. So I discovered something on Facebook today, Chuck. They got a whole Facebook group for the Getting Out Now segment where Brad can put you on there, you put your picture on there, put your story on there, and pen pals can reach out to you. So you might want to stay on him about that.
I didn't know about it, but we're going to do it tonight, though. I promise you got my word on that. Is there anything else you want to say? Is there anything you want to say within these last 30 seconds, Chuck?
Yeah, I mean, if anything I could do, man, to help you brothers out, and believe me, man, I appreciate y'all allowing me this time to talk and tell my story. I'm pretty sure I didn't tell it as eloquently as I would like or articulate myself as good as I would like. But, I appreciate the time. It's been a struggle, but I'm still here and I'm standing strong, man.
It's all good. That's all we can ask for.
I do thank God for my brother.
No. Yeah, so I met Chuck, man, about 13 years ago.
Yeah.
He was in the day room looking sad. I said, what's wrong with you?
I would hope so.
I said, what's wrong with you? He was like, who are you? He looked at me like, who are you? And I called him Charles. And it made him laugh because nobody called him Charles. But I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? I just knew that people who are named Charles are typically referred to as Chuck. So I said, Charles, I would do that on purpose just because I figured it made him smile. You know what I'm saying? And then we hit it off, man. We became friends, and he told me his story. And I was like, man, Chuck, that's like, it was so crazy because I heard so many of those stories, and people like to believe that everybody that's in prison did something to be there. They may have done something in life, and if you believe in karma, that may be it. But everybody is not guilty as charged or as guilty as charged. So I told Chuck, I said, man.
Or sentenced properly.
Right.
Even if you are guilty, you can be over-sentenced.
Yeah, exactly. So I told Chuck, I said, Chuck, when I leave, I got you. You'll see me again. And, of course, you hear that 1,000 times in the joint, but, it's neither here nor there. I got him. But, yeah, man, we got a little bit of time left, man. So I want to just say thank you to you, V, for coming to hang out with me today. Yeah, 15 to the streets. Shout to the homie City Sid. He wasn't here today. He had some things to take care of. Sid be on the move, man. Sid is a busybody, and he's socially awkward. And he don't play no games when it comes to taking care of business. He a pull the trigger kind of guy. That's what he gonna do. Sid gonna take care of some business if he don't do nothing else. Well, but until next time, Brad Fax, KV Severallevels, 15 to the streets.